Hi, this is Kurt from Kurt's Garden, and one of the things that I've always enjoyed over the years are container gardens. Number one, you can keep your plants in check. They won't take over anything larger than the planter. Number two, it elevates the interest in color so you can see your plants instead of having them in the ground. And three, it's very easy to take care of. So these have been pre-planted last year. I've emptied them and cleaned them. And it came with one of these water reservoir things that was automatic watering. I didn't like it. Even though I have a horticulture degree, I tend to overwater. And I'd rather have good drainage, especially in Florida, where these rains come out of nowhere and really kind of flood your containers. So what I did, this is a composite container, and what I did was, after cleaning it, I drilled 5 holes in the bottom with a standard drill bit. And you can see down there that there are 5 holes that are going to maximize drainage. Now, I've got an empty planter. Instead of filling it up with soil, which can be a waste of money, you can use plastic bottles and just fill in about half your space or more. It can be any type of bottle as long as it's clean, and I put the caps on so we don't cause any microclimates or critters to get in the holes. And as you can see, I'm about halfway up. It's good to have different size of bottles. Now what I've got is a reservoir to put some soil. Over here is a wheelbarrow. Even though I probably don't have to do it, I like to do it. I'm using some good quality standard Miracle-Gro potting soil. And with that, I'm going to mix some organic matter that are known as black cow manure. And that'll add some nutrition and natural food for the plants. I take a soil and the manure and mix it lightly with a shovel.
Is it half and half?
Now,
Half and half or more?
you can do half and half, you can do a third and a half. I just kind of eye it. I don't make a big deal out of it. And then I start filling in. And you'll use about a third to less than half the amount of soil you would normally use in a container by just recycling your bottles. It's important to leave room at the top. You're going to be putting some plants in, so I lightly move it around, make sure any obvious air pockets are filling down with it. And I might put a little bit more in. Now, I'm ready to put my plants in. I'm going to keep this simple, and I wanted to pick out a cooler color combination for this midsummer into fall in Florida. So I have some sun patience. These require full sun, and what I do is I got them in a hanging basket because I like things fairly mature so I get instant gratification when I plant them. And I'm just cutting off the hangers, and I'm going to use about 4 plants in each planter. I'm going to plant them pretty tight because, again, I like instant gratification. You might see on sites, and I'm just popping it out of the hanging basket. You might see on sites where they want you to carefully take things apart. The best way to cut plants apart is to do a sharp cut and try not to disturb the root ball a lot. And this is one of the 3 plants. Every plant has a front, or a face as they say it. That's the back, this is the face. So I'm going to plant this towards the viewing eye. And right now I can tell you, because of the size of the plant, I want these up just a little bit more. No worries, go back and add a little bit of my custom soil mixture. Now I can tell you that in my experience, in my days back at the Purdue University Horticulture Department, people bought bedding plants in flats. And they were small plants. You'd plant them in the garden and you'd watch them grow. They still have those today, but they have established specimen plants ready to go, and that's what people want. Now, this is one plant, 2 plants, three plants, and if you notice, I'm putting my hand through the plant, so when I tap it a little bit, I've got good secure hold on the plant and I'm not damaging anything. Now, I need another plant, so I'm just going to cut a clean cut down and pull off another one. And I still want a little bit more soil, so I'm going to hand do this one. Just put a handful down there. And if you notice, I didn't put any stones or shards of clay pots or anything in that pot. Unless you really have a plugged hole, that doesn't give you any better drainage. Now, this is called Asian jasmine. It's a vine. It has inconspicuous flowers, yellow flowers. In a lot of parts of the country, it's good down to 20 degrees below zero, but it hardly ever blooms in Florida. So it's really considered an interest. And as you may know from hearing people talk about container gardens, you need a thriller, filler, and spiller. I've just got my thriller and filler are kind of the same thing. It's this beautiful, pure white sun patient. My spiller is this Asian jasmine. So, Asian jasmine has a tendency to really cover a lot of area. And so instead of planting one in each color, I'm just going to plant it in 2 corners. Now, what do I have to do? Fill in. You may, even though the potting soil may come with it, it's unnecessary initially, you may want to put some time-release fertilizer in it and fertilize them on a regular basis. Now, it's not the truth in all parts of the country, but in Florida, if you happen to be in the South, there's 3 secrets to plants, and it's water, water, and water. And a little bit of that is a misnomer because you good nutrition too. But having enough water is crucial for certain plants in Florida. And the reason you don't need potting soil in the entire container to take up room is roots serve two main purposes for a plant. And someone can probably write me and correct me. It's physical stability, it's physics. It's got to be able to hold itself in the ground and not fall over. And it's a conduit and delivery system for water and nutrients. But container plants don't need a huge root ball or a huge mass of roots. They just need enough to hold them in place and to be a good delivery system. Now, this will eventually fill out. These sun patients can start spreading 20 to 30 inches at their maturity. And even though some impatiens do not like to be pruned and cut back, if these become a little out of hand, you can cut them back a little bit. So I'm leaving a little bit of room for growing. Now, the last thing to do is to water it. And I will water these after planting the other one. And notice that I moved the planter and positioned it far enough away from the pergola post and the patio so I can clean around it and things don't get too tight. So that's your summer planter in Florida.